So, what's funny? I walked into JLC Boutique in Dubai Mall, fully distracted by the new master control in stainless steel. So, I've put a down payment on it, and fulfillment comes when it comes. And I'm an advocate now for this interesting release from JLC to the point where a friend of mine wanted to get into a Royal Oak and he was kind of promised fulfillment. And I said, yeah, good luck. It's a nice watch and all of that. But would you like to visit JLC for me just to kind of peek at the master controls? And quickly he changed his mind and ended up also putting a down payment on the master control, this 88mm case. I was also distracted once more by this Polaris. This is the new refined case of the Polaris that used to come in a 42mm case. Now it's in 40. And I found myself playing with it the first time I was around. And this second visit meant I just had to spend a little bit more time with it. Because for me, outside of what this watch is, I think what it does, it's for the first time in a long time, the Polaris finally speaks and feels like the watch JLC always wanted it to be. Honestly, I feel the 42 khaki green, the hues of the green, the rubber strap, it's very, very solid. The thickness and the case diameter was the only thing people spoke about. I think this release is more important for JLC than people realize. Not because it's revolutionary, but because it's exactly the kind of refinement this collection desperately needed. And by the way, right, this is part of JLC's new DNA. It's tangible enough. We felt it. We've seen it on the Milanese bracelet rose gold. Now there's a white gold of it and there's a chimp set of it. And what a way to revive a historic DNA and offer it basically as part of this modern, anticipated offering by newcomers to the watch and enthusiasts, etc. So that's on one side, and it's also very, very tangible when it comes to the master controls and, the integrated bracelet and the dolphin hands. And I feel like these releases lately from JLC definitely operate out of a new DNA, not the one we knew of in the past, right? And for that reason, JLC deserves more. Let's be honest. If we're talking pure watch credibility, JLC should be in every serious collector conversation. The Watchmaker of Watchmakers, over 1,400 calibers, hundreds of patents, movements applied historically to some of the biggest names in the Swiss watch, the renewed attention around the reverso, the incredible Milanese bracelet release, right? We've seen that in rose gold. Now there's a white gold version and a gem set version. The precious metal execution, the smaller sizing options on the new JLC reversos as well, because the Milanese rose gold reverso now comes in a medium size as well. The experimentation with gemstones and high watchmaking, it finally feels like people are starting to appreciate what this maison actually represents. And now the Polaris joins that momentum too. The biggest change isn't the color. Most people are going to talk about the dial, and yes, the dial is phenomenal. But for me, that's not actually the biggest story. The biggest story is the size, because JLC listened. The new Polaris Date now comes in a 40mm case with a thickness of just 13mm. These are steps compared to the previous generation of Polaris. When I say previous, they're still in production to this date. You have the 42mm thicker case. But I think 40mm on this diver is the sweet spot, right? Again, previous Polaris models always looked good, but they were larger than many collectors wanted, especially today when enthusiasts are moving back toward more balanced proportions. The new sizing gives the watch elegance, it gives it versatility, and most importantly, it gives it presence without trying too hard. The watch finally feels athletic rather than bulky, refined rather than oversized. And when you put it on the wrist, you immediately notice that, and it makes a difference. Believe me, it does. The dial is absolutely insane. As expected, there was no issues with the previous green version or the gray or the matte white dial that they had also on the chronograph Polaris, because this is where JLC reminds everyone that they're masters of execution. They really, really are. They may take incremental steps, but when it comes to functions and execution, it's always top. So this is not an, oh great, oh, another blue dial type of situation. This is beyond that. And honestly, we've all reached this blue dial fatigue, right? Like we talk about dial color tiering, right? So We talk about white, we talk about blue, we talk about green, and there's salmon now, and so many. I think this had been the dial color running for the longest time with all brands. Everyone did a blue dial, right? Every brand has one. Most brands have 10 actually, not even one. But JLC approach is different. The way they play with the texture, the way they layer the finishing, like it's the hues starts lacquer, dark blue, and then it goes lighter, and the way it plays with light is very, very, very comparable to that lacquer blue dial that Vacheron puts on the 4520V, right? It's almost to capture properly in photographs, right? You have the sunray center, you have the grain middle section, you have the contrasting outer ring as well, right? Different shade at different reflection is what you would get with this dial. Different personalities really depending on the light, if I want to put it in a more emotional way, right? Even though the small orange accents create just enough tension to keep the dial feeling sporty without becoming loud, it still kind of gives you that, hey, I'm a sophisticated dial type of vibe, right? But nothing is boring. And that's very difficult to balance, let alone to achieve. You know, some brands did that and failed miserably, even with a common dial like a blue dial, for instance. JLC reportedly uses dozens of lacquering applications on some Polaris dials to create this depth and this gradient effect as well. You can just actually see it. So Moser on the streamliners, they go through all these cycles of burning the dial to achieve that blue. No two blue dials from Moser on the streamliner 39mm, that's the small seconds, look the same. We understand that. The Richemont umbrella, specifically Vacheron and JLC, had taken this up a notch a little bit in their execution, and they did that effectively. That gradient effect is like, I can't compare it to any other brand, to be honest. And you can actually see it yourself. Normally, I'm the first person telling people, get the bracelet, always get the bracelet. You can buy straps later. You can't always buy the bracelet easier later, because some brands like Rolex would play a much more in-depth game and tell you, you know what, you got that BLRO that is now discontinued, by the way. You got it on Oyster, so let's kind of give us a couple of months. They almost treat it like a wish list, right? To top up the Jubilee. That's if they let you. And by the way, this is not a Rolex direction. This is more AD led, because they have them at the back anyways. We know they have everything. They even have the sought after watches. We know this is an AD game. I actually look forward to the day where we can deal directly with the brand without any AD. But anyways, going back to this, if you are ordering this watch, get the strap option. And yes, top up the bracelet if your budget allows later on. Yes, there is a bracelet that fits this. But just be mindful with that particular configuration where you add the bracelet, you will have a little bit a thicker watch, because the angulation, how the bracelet basically connects to the case, it would make it even stand a little bit taller. So you're not really going to notice that reduction in case thickness when you have it on the bracelet option. Now, moving back to the strap, the way the strap integrates with the overall aesthetic works. The way it complements the dial, that also works. I think it's awesome. So this is on blue. You got a blue dial. You can also top an orange strap. Just think about it for a second. You don't have to really follow the dial. You got orange accents on the dial, so an orange strap would also work. And shouting out D-Locks really quick, because I picked up an orange strap for my Nomos from them, and I vouch to these guys all the way. The thing is about the strap, and I don't usually say this about straps, this specific model, this 40mm reduced case Polaris, right? The way it reinforces basically the sporty identity of it is actually with this strap and not the bracelet, and it really works. So yeah, maybe add another strap later for variety. Maybe add the bracelet if you want to change up for whatever period that is. But I highly recommend the strap that comes with it as well. It just works for some reason. And for once, I don't think the bracelet is automatically the better looking when compared to the strap. The more I think about it, the more I believe this Polaris watch represents something bigger, really big. Like, think about it this way. If I am a business and I have services. I'm not going to scale from the beginning. I'm going to put some solid services out. I'm going to test them and validate, and eventually I'm going to scale these services based on what works and based on what I need to bin. It's the same thing with JLC, the new DNA of JLC. It is not radical redesign. It's not a hype watch. It's not trying to chase any trends. It's simply JLC refining the Polaris into what it should have been all along. Smaller, cleaner, more wearable, more cohesive. And backed by the kind of watchmaking pedigree very few brands can claim. For years, watch collectors have said JLC deserves more attention. The funny thing is, I think JLC knew that too. And watches like this Polaris are exactly how you get it. Not by shouting louder, not by creating artificial scarcity, but by making genuinely better watches. And after seeing this new Polaris in person, I think they've absolutely nailed it. Let me know your thoughts. Take care.